Chapter 31. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Locke started the car and shook his head. No, I don't have any plans. Jennifer Grey looked at Locke in disbelief and said dumbly, Where are we going now? Locke smiled and said, It's very simple, where do you want to go most? Don't think about it, just answer immediately. Jennifer Grey was thinking about it, and when she heard Locke's urging, she frowned and blurted out, Beach, I haven't been to the beach for a long time. Locke grinned, Okay, we have a plan now, go to Santa Monica Beach. Jennifer Grey pouted dissatisfiedly, Come on, this is our first date, you don't take it seriously. Locke retorted, Come on, I'm taking you to the place you want to go most now, aren't you happy? Jennifer Grey stared at Locke in a daze, then laughed, Okay, you passed, I'm looking forward to today's date. Locke smiled at the corner of his mouth and said nothing more. As the only two L2 skills he mastered, it is not only reflected in the bed. Having experienced many women, you will naturally know what kind of women should be dealt with in what way. With Jennifer Grey's status and appearance, there is no shortage of gentlemen pursuing her. She is licked in various ways every day, so she just needs to confront and poke directly. It's not like she hasn't poked before. Santa Monica Beach is very close to Beverly Hills, but the distance from Glendale is almost doubled. With beautiful women accompanying her, the journey will naturally not be boring. On the way, Jennifer Grey introduced her emotional resume frankly. Locke's feelings last time were not wrong. Although Jennifer Grey's style of doing things is very bold, she is not Aquaman. She has experienced 4 relationships in total. The first love was in junior high school. At that time, she was in love for the first time and said goodbye to her innocence. The process was not pleasant. The second period was in high school. The other party was the child of her parents' friends. They knew each other well. Later, the other party cheated. The third period was during college. The boyfriend was also a top student, but in the end, because both of them studied too much, they were immersed in their own projects and felt that experiments were more attractive than fucking, so they broke up automatically. The fourth paragraph is after work. Her boyfriend is a financial elite, but because she is too busy, she often misses dates. Later, she found out that her boyfriend hired a prostitute, and finally parted unhappily. After Jennifer Grey finished speaking, she said with a frustrated face, I think I may not be suitable for dating, unless I am not a doctor, but, obviously, this is impossible. However, I am a healthy woman, I have physiological needs, and the experience of tools is not perfect. After my friend knew my troubles, he took me to the bar, and then met you. I think I am very lucky. Locke nodded and agreed, I understand, you are indeed very lucky. Jennifer Grey was a little speechless about Locke's shamelessness. She tilted her head and looked at Locke, looking expectantly, as if waiting for something. Locke pretended not to understand and asked, What's wrong? Jennifer Grey couldn't help rolling her eyes. Come on, I've already said it, it's your turn. Locke smiled bitterly, Can I not say it? He couldn't remember how many women he had experienced. Jennifer Grey said firmly, No, if I want to maintain a long-term relationship, I must know you well enough. Locke was a little helpless. He had guessed that such a high-quality sex partner was not so easy to get. He shrugged and said, Okay, but I can't talk about every relationship like you do. Jennifer Grey asked, Why? Locke honestly told about his past promiscuous experience and said frankly, After joining the LAPD, I have decided to end this kind of life. Jennifer Grey did not show disgust or unhappiness, but was amazed. Wow, a wonderful past, but with your appearance and figure, it is really difficult for women to refuse you. I am one of them. I picked for a long time that night, and fortunately you showed up. You are simply a perfect lover, your skills are very good, I have never experienced such a good experience, so I am really lucky to meet you without much trial and error. Locke has become accustomed to Jennifer Grey talking about sex topics so straightforwardly. Maybe it's because she is a doctor. Body and sex are not difficult for her to talk about. He also praised, You are also very good, with a beautiful face, sexy body, and smooth and white skin. Jennifer Grey smiled reservedly when she heard Locke's praise. Suddenly, her blue eyes flashed and she asked seriously, So, can you tell me, when you were fucking me, did I have sex with other women? What's the difference? Locke was stunned for a moment. Is this going to be studied as a topic? The frank communication along the way allowed Locke and Jennifer to have a deeper understanding of each other and take their relationship a step further. When they got off the car, they were able to walk hand in hand on the beach like ordinary couples. Their high looks attracted many people's attention. Santa Monica Beach is one of the most famous tourist destinations in Los Angeles, attracting tourists from all over the world. It is the end of the famous Highway 10 in the United States. Because of the large number of tourists, the business atmosphere is excellent. Many large shopping malls in the United States have settled here, as well as cinemas, hotels, luxury stores, bookstores, coffee shops, etc. This is a tourist attraction that combines play and shopping. You can stroll on the beach, go to the pier to enjoy the sea breeze, or sit in a cafe to watch the sunset. You can easily spend a day here. Various street performances can be seen everywhere on the beach, attracting tourists to stop and stay. In front of a sketching stall, Locke saw Jennifer Grey showing an interested look, so he gave the street painter $10 and borrowed his tools. In less than 5 minutes, Locke sketched Jennifer on a piece of white paper. It was vivid, and the street painter next to him was stunned. Are you kidding? His sketching is L3 level, a true master level. How can a street painter compare? Locke handed the sketch in his hand to Jennifer, and the woman finally became sentimental and took the initiative to kiss Locke. I finally understand why you can become the Sea King. In the car, Locke told Jennifer Grey about the Chinese Sea King joke, saying that this is a Chinese glorified rhetoric for promiscuity. After hearing this, Jennifer Grey was amazed at the breadth and depth of Chinese, and she even had the idea of learning Chinese. Seeing that they were almost done playing, Locke prepared to take Jennifer to get lunch. He often came to Santa Monica Beach and knew a very good seafood restaurant, and no reservation was required. Locke saw Jennifer Grey looking at the people playing in the water on Venice Beach not far away, so he asked, "Want to go swimming in the sea?" Jennifer replied regretfully, "I didn't bring a swimsuit." Locke laughed and said, "Come on, do you think there will be a shortage of swimsuits here?" Jennifer's eyes lit up immediately, and Locke urged, "Then have lunch first, and then we will go to choose swimsuits." When he arrived at the restaurant, Locke chose a seat with an excellent view. While waiting for the meal, he saw Jennifer smiling and sharing her morning appointment with her friends. He was bored and looked at the other guests in the restaurant. He mainly wanted to verify the lip-reading skills he had just mastered. After scanning around, Locke found that this skill had a big flaw. He could only read the words of 4 people out of 10, among the 6 people who could not be read, 3 did not speak English. Yes, his lip-reading skills can only read English at present. There are 2 who speak very fast, and the remaining 1 likes to talk while eating. Suddenly, Locke was attracted by the words of a bearded man sitting in the corner. The bearded man said to the man in the flowered shirt opposite him with a serious face, "Although I am wanted, you must give me the money for that batch of goods as soon as possible. I am running out of money." Chapter 32. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He is a wanted criminal. This discovery startled Locke, and he quickly retracted his gaze, fearing that his gaze would attract the other party's attention. Seeing that Jennifer Grey had put away her phone, he smiled and asked, "How is your swimming skill?" While looking at Jennifer Grey, Locke looked at the bearded man again, and this time he discovered something. The bearded man sat in the corner of the restaurant, next to the beach. This position had an excellent view, allowing him to see everyone on the beach in front of the restaurant, and it was also convenient for him to escape. In addition, the 2 young men with flower arms at the table to the right of the bearded man, although they were both wearing casual beach pants and flowered shirts, their figure and temperament showed that they were not ordinary tourists, but more like bodyguards. The 2 men's eyes kept scanning the people in the restaurant. They had a black backpack next to their feet. If I guessed correctly, there was a high probability that they were loaded with guns. Jennifer Grey bit the straw and took a sip of juice, shrugging her shoulders and saying, "Generally, I don't spend too much time learning to swim. When I was in swimming class, the boys were all paying attention to my figure, which made me very disgusted. What about you?" Locke suppressed the fear in his heart and asked, "Who am I?" Jennifer Grey was stunned for a moment before she reacted, biting her lip and replied, "Aquaman." With L3 swimming skills, Locke is not guilty of calling himself Aquaman. At this time, the meal ordered by Locke and his friends arrived, and he couldn't even leave. He left as soon as the dish was served, which was too eye-catching. The main dish of this restaurant is a seafood hodgepodge, which contains king crabs, Arctic scallops, prawns, a little onion, peppers, corn, etc. It is a large plate, fresh and juicy. This dish is charged by weight, and it is also served with Mexican tortillas as the staple food, and it can also be wrapped with seafood to make rolls. Jennifer was eating this kind of dish for the first time and found it very novel. This dish was a little spicy for her, but she still praised it. It has a rich taste. She sucked the juice on her finger and asked curiously, "What happened? Why do you seem a little uneasy?" Locke looked at her in surprise. He thought he had covered it up well and asked, "How did you find out?" Realizing that there might be guns in the two black backpacks, judging from the height, they might be automatic rifles. His first reaction was to leave immediately. In an open environment like the beach, the other party was holding an automatic rifle, which would definitely be a massacre. Even if he had a cheat, the probability of death was very high. It was rare to live again, and he cherished his life very much. As for whether the bearded man was a wanted criminal or what he had done, he really didn't care. He was on vacation and didn't bring a gun. How stupid would he be to take the initiative to get involved in such a thing? Jennifer replied, "I majored in clinical surgery and minored in psychology." Locke understood immediately, thought about it, and decided to confess. He was most worried that the two gunmen would carry out terrorist attacks, so it was necessary to remind Jennifer. He whispered, "I seem to have found a wanted criminal. The other party has a gun." "Don't look back." Jennifer was startled, and stopped the urge to look back. She asked nervously, "What should we do then?" "Continue eating." Locke motioned Jennifer to eat like him, and then replied slowly, "I'm not sure if the other party just came to eat or wanted to do something." When he learned about the Los Angeles gang information before, he also casually memorized the main wanted criminals of LAPD and FBI, but he had no impression of this bearded man. Jennifer hurriedly followed Locke's example and continued to eat, asking, "Do you need me to do anything?" Locke forked a piece of crab meat and put it into her mouth, shaking his head and saying, "You don't need to do anything, just eat well. We'll leave after eating. Don't be nervous, the other party may just come here for a meal. Don't worry, I'll take care of everything." Jennifer's expression was relieved a little, and she made an okay gesture to Locke. Locke saw that there was sauce on the corner of Jennifer's mouth, reached out and wiped it off for her with his thumb, then put his finger in his mouth and sucked it, looking at her gently. Although he was staring at Jennifer, his eyes were fixed on the bearded man in the corner, and his expression unconsciously became serious, because the bearded man was talking to the man in the flower shirt head to head. Their conversation was actually about planning a terrorist attack in Las Vegas, but because of the angle, he couldn't see the specific content clearly. He could only capture keywords such as Las Vegas and terrorist attacks. Unfortunately, the man in the flower shirt had his back to him, so he couldn't see his face clearly. Jennifer saw Locke's expression was different, and asked nervously, "What's wrong?" Locke immediately looked away and comforted him, "It's okay, I'll make a call first. You continue eating, don't be nervous, we just an ordinary couple who came here to play." Jennifer forced a smile, picked up a shrimp with a fork, and put it into Locke's mouth. Locke knew that Jennifer Grey was frightened, so he stood up and kissed her on the mouth, wiped his hands, and picked up his phone. He didn't want to care about this matter, but the other party was going to launch a terrorist attack, so he had to care. Unexpectedly, as soon as Locke picked up the phone, a bodyguard immediately looked over with great vigilance. Locke's heart sank. He was planning to find an opportunity to secretly take a photo of the bearded man and send it back to the police station to find out who this guy is. "It seems that we have to take a long-term view and not alert the enemy." Locke did not call the police directly, but called David. For this kind of thing, he wanted to consult David first on how to deal with it, but he didn't expect that David's phone could not be reached, so he thought that David should go out to sea to fish at this time. He had to put down the phone, and he found out of the corner of his eye that as soon as he put down the phone, the bodyguard's eyes moved away. Locke made a decision quickly and asked Jennifer, "Have you eaten?" Jennifer looked up at Locke in confusion, and seeing him staring at her with a smile, she understood and said, "I'm done eating." Locke nodded and said, "Okay, let's go first." After calling the waiter and paying the bill, Locke took Jennifer out of the seafood restaurant. After leaving, Jennifer sighed, hugged Locke's arm tightly, and asked with lingering fear, "I didn't expect to encounter such a thing. Who is the wanted criminal?" Locke told Jennifer the location of the beard, but Jennifer had no impression. What should I do next? Locke looked around and quickly found the street painter before. First, send the portrait of the bearded man back to the police station and find out who he is. The street painter was impressed by Locke. Seeing him come to borrow drawing paper and pen again, he did not take his money this time, but directly gave him a sketchbook and a pen. Locke did not paint on the spot, but led Jennifer back to the G55. Because he was painting from memory, it took 10 minutes to restore the beard on paper. He took a photo of the portrait, sent it to Anna Davis, and called her. Chapter 33. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Anna Davis has higher access rights, but she is also on vacation today. Fortunately, her home computer can connect to the LAPD's internet. After listening to Locke's explanation, she took it very seriously and immediately put the photo into the system database for comparison, but there was no match. In other words, bearded man is not on the wanted list of the Federal Police System database. Locke was dumbfounded. Could it be that he made a mistake in lip reading? He saw bearded man say that he was wanted. He hurriedly picked up bearded man's portrait and carefully recalled bearded man's face. He immediately found the problem and said, "Captain, I suspect he had plastic surgery." Anna Davis did not respond to Locke, but asked, "When did you start learning lip reading?" Locke knew that Anna Daisiwe had doubts about his knowledge of this information through lip reading recognition, so he could only lie, "I started learning when I was on the football team. The team sometimes needs to recognize lip reading codes, but at that time I only knew some simple words. After joining LAPD, I studied systematically. I also bought relevant books." He really bought books. He didn't lie about this. Anna Davis pondered for a moment and said, "Okay, I believe you. I will ask the data analysis team to re-identify it. I will notify you immediately if there is any news. You must not act rashly." Understood. After hanging up the phone, Locke breathed a sigh of relief. He was very sure of his judgment. Although his lip reading was only L1, his forensic medicine was L3. In addition to microexpression analysis L2 and sketching L2, his understanding of the outline of the face has reached a professional level. "Can I see it?" "Of course." Locke handed the portrait in his hand to Jennifer. She took the portrait and lowered her head to study it. She looked very focused and exuded intellectual beauty. 2 minutes later, she looked up and said, "This face has indeed been operated on. The jaw, palate, cheekbone, and nasal bone have all been slightly adjusted. The technique is really good and it is almost invisible. He must be the top plastic surgeon in the industry." She asked curiously, "How did you find out?" Locke smiled slightly. "Can he say that he also studied medicine? And his level is not worse than hers?" He said, "Don't forget that I can sketch." Jennifer's face was suddenly enlightened. She bit her thin lips lightly, ripples appeared in her blue eyes, and she nodded, "Yes, sketching also requires the study of human body contours. I really didn't expect that you are such a good sketcher when you play rugby." Locke's heart was suddenly moved, and he put his hand on her tight thigh, stroking it twice, and said regretfully, "What a pity, I was looking forward to you wearing a bikini. Why should I feel sorry?" As she said, Jennifer took off the t-shirt on top, revealing the dark green Victoria's Secret lace underwear inside. Locke was distracted for a moment, and instantly forgot about the bearded wanted criminal and the FBI. After that night, he kept thinking about Jennifer. Just as Locke was about to help Jennifer unbutton her jeans, his phone rang. It was Anna Davis calling, and he had to answer it. "Locke, you are right, he had plastic surgery. This man is the FBI's most wanted criminal, named Harry Bayline. He is the boss of the notorious Buffalo Gang in Nevada. He has been active in Las Vegas and has committed many murders and kidnappings. He disappeared strangely after being wanted. I didn't expect you to find him today. I have reported this to the FBI, and the FBI will contact you later." On the phone, Anna Davis's voice was much more solemn than before. After verifying Harry Bayline's identity, the information Locke recognized through lip reading was all true. Harry Baline planned to plan a terrorist attack in Las Vegas, which is definitely a big deal, Locke replied calmly. Understood, I will cooperate with the FBI. Anna Davis reminded, you only need to tell the FBI the information you know, you can refuse any unreasonable requests from them. LAPD and FBI are equal. Understood. Locke instantly understood what Anna meant. The Las Vegas incident had nothing to do with the LAPD. They only needed to convey the information and could not take risks for this matter. After hanging up the phone, Locke apologized to Jennifer. It seems that we can't go swimming. Jennifer took off her jeans slowly. Her lower body was also in the same lace underwear, showing every detail, 2 white thighs, slender and toned. She stuck out her buttocks, turned around and prepared to crawl to the back seat, turned her head and smiled at Locke. Can't you be the king of the sea on land? Locke understood immediately and protected her considerately. After she climbed to the back seat, he moved all the front seats forward and then got out of the car and came to the back seat. After entering the back seat, he folded it down, otherwise, he really couldn't use the narrow back space of G55. Soon, the car seemed to be disturbed by the waves not far away, and it also rose and fell with the waves, attracting the teasing eyes of the tourists passing by. Dong, dong, Locke was hugging Jennifer and enjoying the afterglow of pleasure, and was startled in an instant. He looked out the window and saw 2 agents in FBI uniforms standing on the left side of the car. He subconsciously wanted to cover it up, but then he remembered that the car windows were covered with privacy film, and the inside could see the outside, but the outside couldn't see the inside clearly. After calming down, Locke realized that the FBI knew what they were doing inside, and they should have been surrounded just now. Otherwise, they wouldn't have knocked on the window after the incident, and they didn't stand in front of the front windshield to look inside. Locke put on his underwear with a shy face. I was so immersed in it just now that I didn't realize how long the FBI had been there. This time I was embarrassed, seeing Jennifer still lying motionless with a lazy look next to her, and not wanting to put on clothes. He couldn't help but slap her on the butt. He found out that this woman's thinking was not ordinary avant-garde, and she didn't feel embarrassed to expose her body. After being slapped, Jennifer slowly put on her underwear. While buttoning her bra, she tilted her head and asked, "Why does it feel better this time than last time? Is it because we are in the car?" Locke was a little unhappy with this woman's attitude of not taking her body seriously. Hearing her words, he couldn't help laughing. Last time it was L2, now it has become L3, can it be the same? He urged, "Put on your clothes first, you have plenty of time to study at night." Locke took the initiative to help her get a t-shirt and jeans from the front row, and then put on his pants with difficulty. After Jennifer put on her clothes, he pushed open the car door with a t-shirt. In the car, he really couldn't wear a t-shirt, barefoot on the beach. Locke put on his t-shirt while looking at the 2 FBI agents in front of him. One of them was a middle-aged black man with a bald head, who looked very serious and stared at him with an unwavering expression. The other agent was a young blonde white woman with a ponytail, who looked very capable and sharp, and looked at him with a bit of inquiry and playfulness. The black bald agent showed Locke his FBI ID and asked, "I am Senior Agent Hunter, this is Agent Liv, are you LAPD Officer Locke Lee?" Chapter 34. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yes, Locke nodded, stretched out his hand, and asked, "Why didn't you call first?" Seeing that the black bald man had no intention of shaking hands with him, he awkwardly withdrew his hand and asked again, "How is it? Did you catch Harry Bellion?" Hunter replied coldly, "This matter involves FBI confidentiality and is not convenient to disclose. Officer Locke, regarding your discovery of Harry Bellion, I hope you can go back with us to record a detailed record." Locke was immediately unhappy. "Sorry, I'm on vacation now. Can I go after work?" "You already know Harry Bellion's current appearance, it should be easy to find him, this record should not be so urgent." Hunter frowned, "Are you sure?" "What do you mean, are you going to force it?" "Damn, what kind of attitude is this? If I hadn't provided such an important clue, you wouldn't even be able to smell Harry Bellion's fart." Locke was about to confront him, but Agent Liv, who had been silent, spoke up. She said, "Officer Locke, there is a $500,000 bounty on Harry Bellion, so we must be more rigorous in some procedures. The fire in Locke's heart was extinguished instantly. He couldn't claim the bounty from the LAPD, but he could claim the bounty from the FBI. There was another unexpected fortune. He quickly changed his words and said, "It is the duty of every police officer to cooperate with the FBI." "No problem, I will go back with you now." As he said that, he thought of Jennifer in the car and asked, "Can I send my girlfriend home first?" Agent Liv asked, "Has she been with you all the time?" Locke answered yes, and Agent Liv said, "Then it's better to let her go and record a statement together." Locke opened the car door and found that although Jennifer had put on her clothes, she was still lying down, as if she was still immersed in the sage time. He sat on the seat, patted the sand off his feet and put on his shoes and socks, while talking about the need to go to the FBI to record a statement. Jennifer frowned and asked, "Do I need to notify my lawyer?" Locke also reacted and turned his head to look at the two FBI outside. If there is a bounty, there must be a lawyer. He nodded and said, "Of course." He immediately called Marion and told her the whole story, and specifically mentioned the bounty on Harry Bellion. Marion was shopping with Hannah and was a little unhappy to be disturbed. When she heard about the bounty, her tone immediately changed and she said she would rush to the FBI Los Angeles headquarters as soon as possible. After hanging up the phone, Locke was speechless. Marion was worthy of being a lawyer. After thinking for a while, he called Anna Davis again to inform her of the matter. When he finished the call, Jennifer also notified her lawyer and climbed directly from the back seat to the front passenger seat. Locke was amused by her childish behavior and restored the back seat to its original state. Seeing the marks on the seat, his back suddenly felt cold. Marion must not be informed of this. Before returning the car, it must be sent for deep cleaning. FBI interrogation room. Locke waited for a long time, and just when he was getting impatient, the bald Hunter and Liv came in. Hunter's attitude changed drastically, and he took the initiative to apologize to Locke, saying that he was delayed by Harry Bellion's matter. Liv asked the transcript, and she asked Locke in detail about how he found Harry Bellion. Locke repeated it in detail, which was basically the same as what he had said to Anna Davis before. He knew the importance of the confession, so except for the two things that he could lip read and sketch, he told the truth. After Liv finished recording, she turned her head and looked at Hunter, and then said, "Locke, can you help draw the portraits of the two bodyguards and the man in the flowered shirt?" "No problem, but I can only draw the two bodyguards. The man in the flowered shirt has always had his back to me, and I didn't see his front." For the sake of the reward, Locke agreed immediately. He asked in confusion, "There are many cameras on the beach. You should be able to find their video data, right?" Liv handed the sketchbook and sketch pen to Locke. "We just want to consolidate the evidence." Locke shrugged and didn't ask any more questions. It took 10 minutes to restore the scene of the two bodyguards, Harry Bellion, and the four people in the flowered shirt in the seafood restaurant. Liv looked at the sketch in her hand and exclaimed, "Great." Hunter took the sketch handed over by Liv, picked up the sketch of Harry Bellion he had drawn before, and compared it, and asked, "Why didn't you mention that you can sketch and lip reading in your LAPD resume?" Locke spread his hands and said, "I don't think my sketching and lip reading are that good. For example, lip reading, I only know how to do it, can identify some information. Well, I didn't expect you to be so modest." Hunter put away the two sketches and asked abruptly, "Locke, how about it? Are you interested in coming to the FBI?" Locke was startled and blurted out, "No." Hunter was not surprised at all, shrugged and said, "That's really a pity." But he thought in his heart that there was no one that the FBI could not dig up. Although he did not like Locke, he had to admit that it was a waste for Locke to be a LAPD patrolman with his talent. After leaving the interrogation room, Locke found that Anna Davis had come over and Marion was talking to her. Next to him, Jennifer was talking to Hannah. Her lawyer was not seen. He might have left. Seeing him coming out, the four of them looked over. Locke walked straight over and said to Anna Davis, "Captain, I'm sorry to take up your weekend time." Anna Davis smiled and said, "I just made an appointment with Marion to have dinner together. We just put the meeting place here." She praised Marion. "Marion, you have an excellent son. He is very suitable to be a policeman. He has a lot of talent in this area." Marion smiled and said, "Now I finally know why he liked to play the game of playing police when he was a child. Everything is destined. She asked Locke, is it over? Locke nodded, you can go now, but he looked at Jennifer and asked Marion, you should have known each other. Do you still need me to introduce you? Marion shook her head and said, no, we already know each other. She smiled at Jennifer and said seriously, Jennifer is very good, I like her very much, I hope you are serious about what you said this morning. What can Locke say when he met the parents unexpectedly? He can't just say that they are just friends with benefits. He can only say seriously, of course. Then the five of them left the FBI building together. When they left, Marion invited Locke and Jennifer to their dinner, but Locke refused. He said he messed up today's date and would make it up to Jennifer in the evening. Locke, come here. When Locke was about to get in the car and leave, Anna Davis stopped him. I have asked. The FBI has already monitored and controlled Harry Bellion through your portrait, and there should be action soon. Don't tell anyone about what happened today, so as not to disturb the FBI's actions. As for the reward, it should be issued after the arrest. Understood, I will keep it confidential, thank you, Captain. Agent Hunter had just reminded him to keep this a secret. Anna Davis glanced at Jennifer, who was already sitting in the co-pilot seat, and said seriously, Locke, a long-term stable relationship will help change your reputation in the police department. I also think Jennifer is very good. She is a surgeon at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and is much more respectable than the operator at Parker Center. Locke looked embarrassed and quickly replied, I know, thank you, Anna. Chapter 35. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After leaving the FBI, Locke sought Jennifer's opinion and asked whether to find a restaurant for dinner or go home. Soon the two reached a consensus and went straight to Grand apartment. They were a little reluctant to leave in the car before, because the space was too small and they couldn't move freely. After a hearty and refreshing time, the two were clear inside and out, so Locke suggested going out for dinner, but Jennifer lay in bed and didn't want to move, so he ordered Panda Express and pizza. In less than half an hour, Panda Express and pizza arrived. Jennifer lifted the quilt and walked down like this, without any intention of putting on clothes. Although the body in front of him was beautiful, Locke was not used to it and said speechlessly, why don't you wear clothes? He really couldn't imagine what it would be like to eat without clothes. Would he be able to eat that meal? Jennifer picked up a piece of pizza and said nonchalantly, don't you think clothes are restraints? Not wearing clothes is the original appearance of human beings, and if you wear them, you have to take them off again. Well, it seems to make sense. But Locke didn't indulge this woman, and said unhappily, I'm afraid you'll dirty my sofa. Okay. Jennifer looked down, stuffed the pizza in her hand into her mouth, and went to the bathroom to wash up. She originally wanted to wear the dark green underwear, but under Locke's coercion, she covered it with his t-shirt. Looking at Jennifer sitting on the sofa with her legs curled up and eating pizza, Locke couldn't help but complain in his heart. Sure enough, many goddesses are female losers in private. He saw that Jennifer should be stupid because of reading. She has formed her own cognitive system and is too self-centered. Thinking of this, Locke couldn't help but have a headache. Marion and Anna have both met Jennifer and have a good impression of her. They both regard her as his girlfriend. There is no way. She is beautiful, has a good temperament, is a top student at Harvard, and works at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. She is too good. Jennifer saw Locke frowning and asked, what's wrong? Locke told her the truth, and Jennifer frowned immediately, hesitating. You didn't change your mind and want to pursue me, did you? Locke blurted out, no, you are not my ideal partner. Although Jennifer Grey is excellent in both appearance and inner qualities, Locke is more lustful towards her. The meeting between the two can only be said to be a coincidence under a specific environment. That night, if Nathan and the others hadn't started the trouble, he wouldn't have gone over to chat her up, and the man who took her away might have been someone else. The reason why he agreed to Jennifer's proposal was because he just wanted to end his promiscuous life, and Jennifer was a perfect lover. He wanted to be physically and not emotionally involved, which was exactly what he wanted now. Jennifer breathed a sigh of relief and said calmly, that's good. I really don't want to fall in love now. I won't be a good lover. My work is too busy. I prefer the operating room and patients. I don't have the energy to deal with my boyfriend. I think it's good now. Locke nodded and said, "This is what I want, but I have a request." Jennifer picked up a box of classic Yangzhou fried rice from Panda Express. She held the fork in her mouth and asked curiously, "What request?" Locke replied, "I hope that I will be your only partner while we are in a relationship." The novel was taken from the Rawlers website. Close where you're reading it and support us on our website for more free novels. Jennifer stared at Locke in a daze, seeming a little unbelievable. "Do you care about this?" Locke nodded solemnly. "You can regard this as a kind of psychological cleanliness." Locke Lee, the scumbag, naturally wouldn't care about this kind of thing, but he does. Incense. Jennifer couldn't help laughing. "No wonder Hannah said you're like a different person. I really can't imagine how your thinking has changed so much. The psychological trauma after killing people will not cause a change in a person's personality. This is incredible. A promiscuous person now asks me to be chaste." Locke was speechless for a while, knowing that Hannah had sold him out completely when he was in the FBI just now. "She is worthy of being a top student at Harvard." He said seriously, "Jennifer, I'm serious. It doesn't matter. If you don't agree, we can end it tonight." Jennifer shrugged, looking aggrieved, and said with a flat mouth, "Locke, you are too heartless. Am I not worthy of your nostalgia at all?" Locke couldn't help feeling a little regretful in his heart. This woman does have many things worth nostalgia. For example, she is definitely the type of person who is addicted to being a bad person. Although she is very open, she doesn't have much actual experience. There are still many places to develop. She is definitely the best companion for home travel. He spread his hands and said, "Sorry, this is a matter of principle. Since I plan to change my previous lifestyle, I also hope that my partner will maintain relatively pure. Is this the awakening of the conservative factor in your Chinese genes?" Jennifer looked at Locke with an inquiring look, and seemed to be more interested in him. She said casually, "No problem, I promise you." Locke was stunned for a moment. He thought Jennifer would refuse. They did not establish a romantic relationship, but just sex partners, so they have the freedom to mate with each other. Jennifer continued to eat fried rice and chuckled. "I don't know why you specifically mentioned this matter. I think you have a biased understanding of me." She put down the lunch box in her hand and said speechlessly, "Jesus, am I a slutty woman in your eyes? I am not addicted to sex, I just have normal physiological needs. The reason why I show strong needs is because you make me intoxicated and addicted. Don't you know how charming you are? With a partner like you, why do you still look for other men? I don't think I will have fantasies about other men. Your appearance, your figure, your skills, I think I have been completely captured by you. Now, you are the doctor who cures my emptiness. Stop." Locke felt strange. He felt Jennifer was licking him, and said calmly, "Okay, as long as you agree, then we'll make it like this. If you want to end this relationship that day, you can tell me directly." Jennifer took the initiative to sit on his thighs, hugged Locke's neck, bit her lip and said, "I know my position in this relationship, so I don't have any requirements for you. The only requirement is that we have a date once a week. Of course, if you need it and I happen to be free, you can come to me at any time." Locke looked at Jennifer in surprise, a little surprised that she put herself so low. At this time, he also realized something. It was obvious that Jennifer had been completely conquered by him. He underestimated the power of mating L3. He suddenly realized that when this skill was promoted to a certain level, it might be possible to leave a mark in the other person's mind through physical communication. This discovery greatly reduced Locke's doubts. He pinched her butt and tempted, "Do you know? Sex is not just one way, there are other ways." Jennifer enjoyed Locke's comfort, humming and nodding. "Of course, I have seen the movie San Fernando Valley, but I haven't tried it." Locke asked, "Want to try it?" Jennifer was eager to try, and she shook her butt impatiently. I said, wearing a hindrance. Chapter 36. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Locke sent the energetic Jennifer back to Glendale. After parking the car, Jennifer took the initiative to kiss Locke. Yesterday's date and frank communication made the relationship between the two more than a couple. After getting off the car, she did not leave immediately, but leaned on the car window on tiptoe. Dr. Lee, I am very satisfied with yesterday's date. I am already looking forward to the next date. When playing games last night, the two played a role-playing game of doctor and patient. Locke was the doctor who gave the injection, and Jennifer was the patient. Watching Jennifer staggering towards the house, Locke was a little worried, and leaned on the car window and asked, "Honey, do you need me to take you in?" Jennifer turned around and smiled. "If you are not afraid of my daddy's Mossberg 500, you can go in and have a cup of coffee." The Mossberg 500 shotgun is a shotgun that most wealthy families in the United States have, and is widely used in shooting competitions, hunting, home self-defense and practical shooting sports. Locke tactfully withdrew, waved to Jennifer, stepped on the accelerator, and left quickly. David called in the morning and made an appointment to go to the gun store together. David's home is in Southgate, about half an hour's drive from Glendale. Half an hour later, Locke easily found David's house because he had been there once before and met his daughter Catherine Murphy that time. From then on, David guarded against him like a wolf. Before he arrived, Locke saw David standing by the roadside waiting from a distance. He slowly parked the car in front of David, lowered the window, looked at the house next to him, and said dissatisfiedly, "I still want to go in and have a cup of coffee." "What coffee do you want so early in the morning?" David opened the car door and sat in. Mercedes-Benz AMG, damn rich people. Seeing Locke tilting his head to look at the door, he turned his head and saw that his daughter had actually come out. He hurriedly raised the car window and urged, "Boy, what are you looking at? Hurry up, I wasted my weekend to accompany you to buy a gun." Catherine Murphy stood at the door. She had long brown hair and a sweet look. She was a standard American sweet girl. It was hard to imagine that she was actually a forensic doctor who dissected corpses. She was wearing a pink t-shirt and a pair of denim hot pants. Her legs were white and she was waving to the car. Locke waved to Catherine Murphy across David, which was considered a greeting, and then lightly stepped on the accelerator and slowly drove away. He had never thought of provoking Catherine Murphy, and didn't understand why David was so nervous. David was relieved to see Locke didn't bother Catherine, and deliberately asked, "Boy, how was your date yesterday?" Locke looked afterward, nodded and said, "Very good, we went to Santa Monica Beach. And you, how was your harvest this time?" David shrugged and said, "We were a little unlucky. We encountered a tuna of at least 500 pounds, 230 kilograms, but it ran away. That's really a pity." Locke looked regretful. "Next time you should call me, I'm strong." David turned his head to look at Locke, nodded and said, "That makes sense. The reason why we let it slip away this time is because we old guys don't have enough physical strength." According to David's instructions, Locke quickly drove to the gun store, which was not far from his home, only 10 minutes away. After parking the car, Locke followed David into the gun store. This gun store is like most gun stores in the United States, with a wide variety of guns, and even some antique guns. The owner of the gun shop was a ruddy-faced bearded man who was oiling a classic M1 Garand rifle from World War II. When he saw David, he was surprised and said, "Wow, who is this? Isn't this our Officer Murphy?" David walked over and bumped fists with the bearded man. "Hi, Gary, this is Locke, my partner, who just joined the company. I brought him here to buy a gun." He introduced Locke. "Gary, he used to be a LAPD, and he opened this gun shop after retirement. He has the most complete guns in Los Angeles. Even if it is an antique gun, as long as you say the name, he can get it for you." The bearded Gary was praised by David and his face was full of wrinkles. He smiled at Locke in a friendly way. "Welcome to join the LAPD. Since David brought you here, I will definitely give you the lowest price." David smiled slyly and winked at Locke, who immediately handed his shopping list to Gary. Gary took the list and was stunned for a moment. He immediately said, "No, 416 Hong Kong dollars, but you can choose MR223 and MR556, or M4. David interrupted him. "Gary, I know you haven't 416 Hong Kong dollars, take it out. Otherwise I will take him to Jimmy for help. I believe Jimmy can do it. That I can also get HK416. HK416. Gary slammed the list on the counter and said angrily, "Fuck, don't mention that bastard's name in front of me. In the whole Los Angeles, only I have 416 Hong Kong dollars, no one else can have it." "David, you know, there is no discount for HK416, David asked. How much? Gary replied, $8,000, not a penny less. This gun is already equipped with a holographic sight and a silencer. David turned his head to look at Locke. Boy, you heard it too, this guy is taking you for a fool. In fact, M4 is enough. 416 Hong Kong dollars is overpriced. Only idiots will buy it. How much is the military purchase price? 1,000 US dollars. Gary's face suddenly turned pale and he said impatiently, okay, $7,500, this is the lowest price. David looked calm and continued to persuade Locke, listen to me, M4 is enough, HK416's reputation is blown out, I will help you get an M4 later, it will definitely not exceed $2,500. Gary gritted his teeth and said in a deep voice, $7,200 is enough. David, don't go too far. I spent $7,000 when I bought this gun. You can't stop me from making money. An hour later, Locke left the gun store happily, with several boxes and bags in his hands. The 416 Hong Kong dollars had a gun box, and the Remington M870 shotgun had a gun bag. There were also 3 pistols, a Glock G18, a Glock G19, and an M9, which is the Beretta 92F, Glock G19. Beretta 92F. Glock G18. In addition, he bought a military bulletproof vest and some bullets. Under David's price reduction, the 416 Hong Kong dollars was finally sold at a price of $6,800. Gary's face turned pale and he even cursed, fuck. All the guns and equipment added up to no more than 12,000 US dollars. On the way back, David sat in the driver's seat. He said he had never driven a G55, so Locke gave the car to him to drive, and he could just fiddle with the gun he had just bought in the co-pilot's seat. Seeing Locke fiddling with the M9, David complained, how is it? Is it heavy and big? Not bad. Compared to Glock G18, Locke prefers the texture and feel of M9, and this weight is nothing to him. On the contrary, Glock G19 is a bit small for him, and he is not used to it. However, this kind of spare gun is usually hidden on the body, the smaller the more comfortable. Locke found that David did not go home. Where are you going? David looked at him speechlessly. Boy, you just bought a gun, shouldn't you go to the shooting range to adapt to it? Especially the rifle, you have to practice well, don't think that you can use the rifle well just because you have a rifle license. Chapter 37. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shooting range. Half an hour later, David stared at Locke in astonishment. Boy, I've seen your test results, your average score is 7 rings, and you didn't mention that you can use a rifle. Locke gently put down the 416 Hong Kong dollars in his hand. It's not without reason that it's expensive. It's simply a work of art, and the sound is very nice. He shrugged and replied indifferently, I heard that those with good shooting skills will be assigned to SWAT. I used Remington M700 to kill wild wolves on my grandfather's farm when I was 10 years old. The reason why he exposed his shooting skills to David was because the two were partners, and he had to let David know his strength so that they could cooperate better. Locke Lee did use Remington M700 to shoot wild wolves on the farm when he was in his teens, but his shooting skills were terrible. Then Locke tried Remington M870 again. No wonder American police like to use this model of gun. It is indeed a close combat weapon, and it has a lot of style. Locke compared the pistols and he really liked M9 more. This gun is more in line with his feel. However, when patrolling, he would still carry the Glock G18 like David, because it has 17 rounds of ammunition, while the M9 only has 15 rounds. The G18 can even be equipped with 31-round and 33-round magazines. Emptying the magazine can directly shoot people into sieves. There is a reason why Glock is popular all over the world. Although the engineering plastic makes the texture of this gun much worse, it is light, cheap, and its accuracy and jam rate are far lower than other guns. It is a typical durable and reliable type. With his current level of pistol L3, it doesn't make much difference to him what gun he uses. After shooting around at a fixed target, Locke felt boring, so he went to shoot at a moving target again, and David followed him to keep time. Watching Locke switch between rifles and pistols skillfully, David's scalp was numb. He felt that he didn't recognize this kid after 2 days of not seeing him. Locke turned off the gun's safety, turned his head and asked David, "How is it? How much?" David looked incredulous. "Is this really your first time?" Locke replied, "I practiced it during the training at the police academy." David glared at him unhappily and reset the timer in his hand. "You really should go to SWAT. Being a patrolman is too much of a waste of your talent." When he left, David was so depressed that he didn't even want to drive the G55. He was hit by Locke. Even though he was lying flat, he was still shocked by Locke's talent. He suddenly felt frustrated that his more than 20 years of police career had been a dog's life. No words were spoken along the way. Before getting off the car, David reminded in a muffled voice, "Remember to send all the guns to the equipment room for registration tomorrow morning, and remember to bring all the guns' documents and information." Locke was a little helpless. He had just kept them at the shooting range. The L3 master level was no joke. If he was unreserved, he would definitely shock the audience. Seeing David push the door and get out of the car, Locke called him, "To thank you for helping me choose a gun, I'll treat you to Chinese lunch at noon." David held the car door and glared at Locke fiercely. "Boy, I warn you, don't pay attention to Catherine. Get out of here." Bang! Locke stared at David's hurried back in a daze, feeling a little puzzled. He really wanted to thank him. This time, David saved him at least $3,000 on the gun. Locke was about to leave when he found Catherine Murphy coming out, seemingly ready to greet David. Seeing that he hadn't left yet, she waved to him, but was pulled in by David. Locke was immediately furious. He really couldn't understand how a fat and bald man like David could have a daughter as beautiful as Catherine. He suddenly thought of why David reacted so strongly. He treated David to Chinese lunch, so Catherine must have gone too. That's it, this old guy. The next morning, Locke did not suffer from the work syndrome at all. He arrived at the police station early, and spent half an hour to register all the firearms. Not all LAPD can use automatic rifles. Before September 11th, only more than 300 out of 10,000 LAPD were qualified to use automatic rifles. After September 11th, the number of such people increased to 1,500. To use an automatic rifle, you need to apply for it, pass professional training, and pass the exam to obtain the qualification to use a rifle. Locke had passed the exam during the training period, so he could use it directly after purchasing the automatic rifle. He also casually returned the Glock G17 issued by the police station. After having his own gun, he could take the gun home from now on, and he felt safe. When he moved all the equipment into the trunk of the patrol car and returned to the duty room, he immediately found something wrong. The patrolman in the duty room lined up, and Captain Jones was standing on the staircase. "It seems that he is waiting for someone." Locke hurriedly walked to David's side, but seeing that this guy looked very bad, he did not make himself look bad, and turned his head to ask Randy next to him, "Bro, what happened?" Randy straightened his chest and said with a serious face, "Locke, congratulate me. If there is no speculation, my promotion ceremony should be held later." The police officer in the front row heard Randy's words, turned back and laughed jokingly. "Wow, congratulations to you, Randy." Nathan punched him directly. "Congratulations to you, Randy." Superintendent Mona also turned her head. "Randy, congratulations. Please enjoy the sky at night." Randy's face instantly turned bitter. "This guy, let's see if you are still pretending." Locke couldn't help laughing, but seeing Elsa next to Randy staring at him absent-mindedly, he quickly restrained his smile and looked straight ahead, feeling a little helpless in his heart. It's not good to be too charming. At this time, Anna Davis led two people downstairs. When Locke saw the two people, his expression couldn't help but condense. "Do you know them?" Locke turned his head and saw David staring at him. The old man finally spoke. He nodded and whispered, "FBI." The two FBI agents following Anna Davis were Hunter and Liv, the senior agents that Locke had met the day before yesterday. Under the light, Hunter's bald head shone brightly, like a black salted egg. Quiet. Captain Jones rectified the on-site discipline and gave his position to Anna Davis. Anna Davis immediately announced that there was a temporary mission, and the Wilshire Police Department needed to assist the FBI in arresting a group of terrorists. Then, he introduced Hunter and Liv, saying that they were liaisons of the FBI. Locke immediately thought of Harry Bellion. If he hadn't guessed, this operation should have been to arrest Harry Bellion. The meeting was very brief. After Captain Jones introduced the mission, he announced the disbandment. When the meeting ended, Locke found that Hunter and Liv both looked at him, and then left with Anna Davis. Locke and his men walked to the parking lot together. Their team was assigned to Superintendent Mona. Locke opened the trunk and put on the newly bought bulletproof vest. In fact, he was already wearing the blank ST series bulletproof vest provided by the police station under his uniform, but this bulletproof vest can only weaken the attack of 9mm pistols and is ineffective against rifles. After putting it on, he handed David's outer bulletproof vest to him, which is actually a ceramic plate worn in a tactical vest. David asked, "What's the situation?" Locke thought that since they were ready to arrest Harry Bellion anyway, there was no need to keep it secret, so he told what happened on Santa Monica Beach on Saturday. The terrorists should have automatic rifles in their hands. "Be careful. You just need to follow me later." David took the bulletproof vest, his expression became solemn, and he shouted to Superintendent Mona next to him, "Mona, come here." After listening to David's retelling, Superintendent Mona did not ask about the source of the information, but looked at Locke with praise. "Great job, Locke, everyone will be grateful to you." Chapter 38. You are listening at novelfull.audio. An hour later, Locke stood beside the patrol car, fully armed, holding 416 Hong Kong dollars and wearing a tactical vest. He wore sunglasses and stood straight, looking mighty and handsome, totally cool and domineering. Next to him, David, Superintendent Mona, and Nathan stood. The three of them were dressed similarly to him, wearing sunglasses and bulletproof vests. But only Mona was equipped with an automatic rifle like Locke, while David and Nathan were not qualified to use rifles. Mona's rifle was an AR-15. Unlike Locke's, even in the United States, 416 Hong Kong dollars is really a rich man's gun. Their team was assigned the task of guarding this outer intersection to prevent terrorists from escaping from here. The entire area has been blocked, and the Wilshire Police Department is responsible for the outer area. Listening to the crackling sound not far away gradually quiet down, Locke couldn't help asking, "Is it over?" David, with his big belly, put his hand on the holster and curled his lips. The FBI requested to dispatch SWAT. No matter how powerful the terrorists are, there is no hope. There are no terrorists in the United States. Locke was a little speechless. He thought that the newly bought equipment could be used today, but he didn't want to be arranged to play soy sauce. He realized more and more that ordinary LAPD was too boring. It seemed that he had to apply for the detective exam as soon as possible. Superintendent Mona kept contacting the police officers at other intersections with the walkie-talkie to get real-time information so as to make corresponding adjustments. After receiving a new instruction, she said loudly to Locke and the others, "It's over. The main criminal Harry Bellion has been shot dead on the spot. Set up roadblocks. We need to search all the vehicles coming out to prevent any fish from slipping through the net." Soon Randy and Elsa, as well as Teddy and Instructor Mark, also came over. The intersection they had guarded before was directly blocked, because David told Superintendent Mona that Locke was a good shooter. Locke was not assigned to the job of interrogation. He only needed to be on guard. The job of interrogation was done by Randy, Nathan, Elsa and Teddy, three rookies. As the inspection began, the road soon became congested, but Locke's work was not affected and continued to proceed step by step. It was just because of the congestion that some drivers in line began to honk their horns impatiently, but when Mark walked over with an automatic rifle and took a circle, they immediately quieted down. Locke gave Mark a thumbs up. Because of David's reminder, he didn't have much contact with Mark, but he felt that this guy's workability was not bad. The inspection lasted for more than 10 minutes, and it was smooth all the time, and no abnormalities were found. Locke's eyes kept patrolling the car that was about to come, and suddenly, his eyes condensed. In a Mercedes-Benz car 10 meters away from the inspection point, he found that the driver was actually one of Harry Bell's two bodyguards. This discovery instantly lifted Locke's heart. Harry Bellion was shot dead. How did his bodyguard escape? Locke immediately approached Superintendent Mona and whispered to her about his discovery. The FBI had already distributed the portraits of Harry Bellion and his two bodyguards to all LAPDs before the operation, but no one except the top leaders of the Wilshire Police Department knew that these portraits were drawn by Locke. Mona was promoted to a first-class superintendent at such a young age, And her professionalism was not in vain. While listening to Locke's report, she did not look at the Mercedes-Benz car, but just reported the situation to the intercom calmly. After the report, she whispered, "How many people are there in the car?" Locke did not look at the Mercedes-Benz car again, thought for a while, and replied, "I can only see the bodyguard in the driver's seat, and I can't see if there are people hiding in the back seat." Mona nodded and said, "Okay, watch my gesture later." Soon it was the turn of the Mercedes-Benz car. Locke moved his fingers slightly and opened the insurance. His eyes looked at the driver openly, and he was sure that it was one of the two bodyguards he saw in the seafood restaurant last time. He looked at the back seat again, but didn't see anyone, because it had been hinted, the inspection of this car was not for Nathan and the other 3 rookies, but for Randy to perform the inspection task. Superintendent Mona stood on the other side of the car, followed closely by David. Locke followed closely behind Randy, and Mark stood on the left side of the front of the car staring at the bodyguard. Randy knocked on the car window, signaling the bodyguard to lower the window. He said according to the inspection procedure, "Sir, show your ID, open the rear window, open the trunk." The bodyguard was very calm. He immediately pressed the rear window and opened the trunk at the same time, and then reached into the glove box to find his ID. As soon as he leaned over, Locke instantly saw the gun on his waist from the gap in his clothes, pulled Randy to the back, and pushed the 416 Hong Kong dollars directly into the car. "He has a gun. Don't move. Hands up. He has a gun. Don't move. Hands up." The bodyguard was startled by Locke's sudden action and looked at him in disbelief. He subconsciously wanted to react, but he was pointed at by an automatic rifle and felt the murderous intent on Locke's body, so his body froze. Superintendent Mona also reacted quickly and tried to open the car door, but the door was locked, so she shouted, "Open the door." Locke suppressed the urge to shoot and shouted again, "Step out of the car, get out of the car." The bodyguard slowly moved his hands and opened the car door. On the other side, Superintendent Mona and David pointed their guns at him. When the bodyguard got out of the car, he was told to raise his hands and lie on the ground. Then David and Mark handcuffed his hands behind his back. Superintendent Mona then approached and pulled the gun from his waist. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Superintendent Mona put the gun into the evidence bag and praised Locke. "Well done, Locke." Just as they caught the man, the FBI support came, led by the black-balled Hunter and Liv. As soon as they came, they took over the bodyguard. Hunter directly dragged the bodyguard into the patrol car next to him for interrogation, and asked other FBI to guard outside the car door. After a while, the patrol car shook irregularly. Locke and the others looked at each other in surprise. Isn't the FBI too fierce? After Liv and Superintendent Mona learned about the arrest just now, they went straight to Locke and asked, "Did you find the bodyguard of the doctor?" Locke was confused and asked, "Who is the doctor?" Liv was stunned for a moment and then immediately realized that Locke was just a low-level LAPD and had limited information. After hesitating for a while, he explained, "The doctor is the one wearing a flowered shirt when you found Harry Bayline on Santa Monica Beach last time. The two bodyguards are not Harry Baylines, but the doctor." Yes. She paused and continued, "The doctor is the most famous plastic surgeon in the North American underground world and one of the most dangerous criminals. He has been wanted by the FBI. We don't know what he looks like or what his name is. He was the one who did Harry Bayline's face. If it weren't for you this time, we really wouldn't be able to lock on Harry Bayline. Although we found some video footage of the doctor on Santa Monica Beach, it is not very useful. Given his style, he must have disguised himself. His face, body shape and walking habits have all changed. The reason why we didn't arrest Harry Bayline immediately was that we wanted to take the opportunity to catch the doctor. This time, we had already locked him down, but he still escaped." Locke was stunned. He didn't expect that the man in the flowered shirt whose face he had never seen was the boss behind the scenes. He could only recall half of the shoulder of the flowered shirt now. "This man was too cowardly, even more cowardly than him," Liv said to Locke solemnly. "I suggest you reconsider the invitation from Detective Hunter last time. With your talent, it's a bit of a waste to stay in the LAPD." Locke suddenly realized that it was no wonder that he told him so much. He treated him as his own. He turned his head to look at the patrol car that had stopped shaking, and said in a deep voice, "So this bodyguard is actually a bait. Maybe the doctor has already slipped away." Liv's appreciation grew stronger, and she nodded, "But if we catch his bodyguard, we should be able to." Before she finished her words, the bald hunter walked out of the car with a gloomy face, angrily cursing, "Fuck, these lunatics." Chapter 39. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone's eyes were instantly attracted to it. Hunter's face was gloomy. He took a deep breath, and told the FBI agent next to him, "Call a team of forensics and forensics." Liv's face suddenly changed, and she hurried over. She looked into the car, kicked the car angrily, and cursed, "Damn it." Locke and others were curious and went over to check. Everyone's faces changed. The bodyguard who had just been arrested was limp in the back seat of the patrol car, with a pool of excrement under his feet. He was deader than dead. The FBI was also confused by this sudden situation, so they didn't take care of them for a while, so they were allowed to approach the car. Hunter and Liv were both calling to report the situation, and soon Liv found Superintendent Mona. "Superintendent Mona, there is an emergency now. Please suspend the inspection of this road. This road is temporarily closed, thank you." She also took the bodyguard's gun from Superintendent Mona. 10 minutes later, the scene was taken over by the FBI, and Locke and others were isolated outside. Hollowshit. This is disgusting. I want the FBI to accompany me in a car. Looking at Randy who was chattering and Elsa who looked disgusted, Locke felt very sympathetic, and at the same time was very glad that it was not their car. Yes, the patrol car that bald Hunter had just requisitioned was Randy and Elsa's. When Hunter was torturing the bodyguard of the doctor in the car, the bodyguard couldn't stand it, and suddenly bit the poison in his mouth and died, with feces and urine all over his pants. Within the cordon, FBI forensic personnel and forensic doctors were getting into the patrol car to collect physical evidence and prepare to move the body. While Locke sympathized with Randy and the others, he also felt a little cold in his heart. The bodyguard's violent and decisive means would scare anyone, and it's no wonder that Hunter just cursed and the clues about the doctor were cut off again. What is even more frightening is that the bodyguard can commit suicide, which also means that the doctor can turn him into a human bomb. It can be seen from this that the doctor is really awesome. The means of controlling him are no less than those of professional terrorists. No wonder the FBI can't catch him. Locke looked at the operation of the FBI curiously. It is worthy of being the largest law enforcement agency in the United States. This set of procedures is too professional. The FBI has its own system, and its functional departments are much more complicated than the LAPD. I thought it was just a soy sauce, but I didn't expect it to be a sudden turn. I thought I caught a fish that slipped through the net, but I didn't expect it to die so soon, and I missed a bigger fish, which is exciting enough. Locke suddenly thought of something and was immediately depressed. Damn, if the doctor knew that he discovered Harry Bellion, I wonder if he would cause trouble for him. He couldn't help but look at the bald Hunter, wondering if he could keep his information confidential within the FBI. Bald Hunter was standing aside with a gloomy face, listening to the phone and being scolded because he killed an important suspect. It was obvious that the person on the other end of the phone was higher in rank than him, and he could only listen to the scolding. Now the scene was taken over by Liv. Obviously, this guy was suspended from the scene. It must be said that this guy is a tough guy. Locke just took a look at the body. The bodyguard was incontinent not because of suicide by taking poison, but because he was electrocuted before death. This job was really rough, but even if it was the FBI, after killing the suspect, the black salted egg would probably not end up without a layer of skin. Liv was also communicating something on the phone. In short, the scene was busy. Locke and the others were happy to be free. The FBI would not let them get close to the patrol car now. Only Randy was so noisy that he kept asking Superintendent Mona to negotiate with the FBI and let the FBI compensate him with a car, which made Superintendent Mona very annoyed. Nathan, who had been an honest man for most of his life, was frightened by the scene and whispered, "Why is the FBI so unruly?" David said unhappily, "If they follow the rules, they are not the FBI. As we all know, the LAPD and the FBI Los Angeles branch have always been at odds." Mark said enviously, "Who said they are the FBI?" Locke has also seen the power of the FBI this time. If the LAPD kills a suspect, There may be a nationwide parade, but if the FBI kills someone, it will definitely be silent in the end. At most, the agent will be punished internally. At this time, Superintendent Mona received instructions. After she went to tell Agent Liv, she came back and said to Locke and the others, "Okay, we can call it a day. The FBI will be fully responsible next, but we have to go back to the police station once to export the camera video in the morning." Randy asked anxiously, "What about my car?" Superintendent Mona glanced at him and pointed to the Mercedes left by the bodyguard. She impatiently replied, "This car and your car, the FBI will tow away to collect more evidence. As for when they will be back, it is not known yet. During this period, the police station will reassign a patrol car to you." She warned everyone again, "This case has been gagged, everyone be careful." Everyone knew the sensitivity of this matter, so they naturally wouldn't talk nonsense. On the way back, Randy got into Locke's car, while Elsa got into Nathan's car. After all, the back seat of the Crown Victoria is not so friendly, and it is definitely asking for trouble to squeeze two people in. In the car, Randy finally stopped talking about the car. He lay on the back seat of Locke and asked mysteriously through the plastic baffle, "Bro, I seem to hear that FBI female agent recruiting you." Locke said with a smug look on his face, "There is no way." "Too good," David said coldly, "Boy, if you go to the FBI, don't say you know me." Locke looked at David in astonishment. Damn, how much hatred does David have with the FBI? He quickly changed his words and said, "I won't go to the FBI. Once you are LAPD, you will be LAPD forever." Randy behind him said with a look of relief, "Bro, you made the right decision. If you go to the fucking FBI, I don't know how to face you in the future. Because whenever I see the FBI, I will remember that they pooped and peed in my car." Locke looked disgusted and turned his head and said solemnly, "For you, I will never go to the FBI." David shouted, "Hey, kid, watch the road." Locke said nonchalantly, "I can drive with my eyes closed." After returning to the police station, colleagues in the information department immediately took away everyone's cameras, and FBI people were already waiting to receive all the videos. Locke probably guessed the purpose of their doing this. The FBI should suspect that the doctor may have slipped away in the car that was released before, and they wanted to take the video back for data comparison to see if they could find that doctor. After removing all the weapons, Locke and his team resumed their normal patrols. However, he asked David to wait for him, as he wanted to find Anna Davis. Unexpectedly, Captain Jones came out of the office just as Locke went up to the second floor. After looking around, his eyes finally stopped at him. "Locke, go to the captain's office." Locke was startled. What a coincidence. Chapter 40. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This was the first time Locke had entered Anna Davis's office since he joined the Wilshire Police Department. As the big boss of the Wilshire Police Department, Anna Davis's office was much larger than Richard Jones, with better light and a sofa area for reception. She looked at Locke with a smile, motioned him to go to the sofa, and stood up and walked over, saying with a smile, "Locke, well done. Mona has reported to me that you found the bodyguard of the doctor." Locke said modestly, "I drew his portrait, so I was more impressed." Anna Davis said seriously, "This time you found the FBI's most wanted criminal Harry Bellion, prevented a disaster for Las Vegas, and found the fugitive. I will apply for a commendation for you." In addition to the reward, there was an honor. Locke hurriedly stood up and said gratefully, "Thank you, Captain." Anna Davis said again, "There is one more thing. I received an invitation letter from the FBI. The FBI wants to invite you to a trial. What do you think?" Locke was very surprised. He didn't expect the FBI to send a formal invitation letter. He shook his head and said, "I don't want to go to the FBI." Anna Davis seemed to have expected Locke to say this, and nodded. "Good, then I will help you reject this invitation." Locke asked, "Captain, if the doctor escapes this time, will it be a hidden danger for me?" Anna Davis looked at Locke with more appreciation. "Locke, I am very pleased that you can think of this. It seems that you have really matured after joining the police force. I believe Marion will be proud of you. Don't worry, the doctor is different from other terrorists. Although he is the mastermind behind several terrorist actions, he never directly participates in any action. so the probability of him taking revenge on you or your family is very low." She showed a helpless look, "and the FBI will not admit that you discovered the matter of Harry Bellion, at least not publicly. But don't worry, they will not reduce your reward. Harry Bellion is dead. I believe the reward will come soon. I will help you keep an eye on it. But just in case, you should keep a low profile on this matter, understood?" Locke was relieved immediately. At this time, he understood why David disliked the FBI so much. Damn, it's so shameless. However, he didn't care about the FBI usurping his credit, as long as they didn't blacken his reward. Anna Davis smiled again and said, "There is another good news to tell you. The DEA has sent a message that the organization of the 2 drug dealers you killed before, the newly emerged drug trafficking organization Menotti in Mexico, has been destroyed in the gang struggle." Although Locke knew it a long time ago, he had to pretend to be surprised and said happily, "This is really good news." Anna Davis asked again, "Locke, what are your plans for your future career?" Locke confessed, "I want to go to the detective bureau." After hearing this, Anna Davis nodded and said, "It's a wise decision. Although you just joined the LAPD, the detective bureau will not reject excellent talents. I will support you." Locke thanked again, "Thank you, Captain." Under normal circumstances, new police officers can apply to join the detective bureau after working for 2 years. In the evening, Locke turned on the TV, adjusted the mute, and took out a Bud Light beer from the refrigerator, just like last time. In this way, even if someone peeked at him, they would think he was watching TV. Locke looked at the panel with a thoughtful look. He didn't expect that the system would reward Harry Bellion's case. This was too unexpected. It seems that the system's reward is indeed related to the degree of participation in the case. If he hadn't found Harry Bellion on Santa Monica Beach, there would be nothing that happened next, so, although the FBI's arrest and killing of Harry Bellion had nothing to do with him, the system still gave him a reward, because he played a role in connecting the past and the future in this case. Well, he also participated in the subsequent actions. Host, Rock Lee/Rock Lee, level, 1. Strength, 10, Human Peak 20, Speed, 10, Human Peak 20, Stamina, 9, Human Peak 20, Spirit, 11, Human Peak 20. Skills mastered, Pistol, L3 Master, Rifle, L2 Proficiency, Mixed Martial Arts, L3 Master, Car Driving, L3 Master 25 years, Chinese, L3 Master, Olive Ball, L2 Proficiency, Mating, L3 Master, Swimming, L3 Master, Housekeeping, L3 Master, Traceology, L3 Master, Makeup, L3 Master, Forensic Medicine, L3 Master, Sketching, L3 Master, Micro-Expression Analysis, L2 Proficiency, Chemistry, L2 Proficiency, Biology, L2 Proficiency, Toxicology, L2 Proficiency, French, L2 Proficiency. Japanese, L2 Proficiency, Art Appreciation, L2 Proficiency, Computer, L2 Proficiency, Cooking, L2 Proficiency, Lock Picking, L2 Proficiency, Spanish, L1 Proficiency, Lip Reading, L1 Proficiency, Psychological Profiling, L1 Proficiency, Justice Value, 500, plus 250, Attribute Points, None, Cards, Experience Card, Car Driving, 5 years of experience, Function Card, Bullet Avoidance Card, Detection Card, Fusion Card, Learning Card. After comparing the changes in the panel, Locke has a new understanding of the system. Harry Bell is a gangster who kills people, sells drugs, and does all kinds of evil. He has at least dozens of lives. The crimes he has committed should definitely be more than just this little justice value. The reason why the justice value is discounted should be related to his participation in this case. So, the participation in the case is very important. This discovery further confirmed Locke's idea of going to the Police Detective Bureau. In fact, the FBI is also a good choice. There will definitely be no shortage of cases, higher law enforcement power, and a wider scope of law enforcement, but Locke prefers to stay in the Los Angeles Police Department. His connections are all in the LAPD, and the Police Detective Bureau does not have to be as busy as the FBI, and the pressure is not that great. He does not want to continue to be a social animal. It's a pity that there are still no attribute points awarded this time, but experience cards and a new function card are awarded. Locke used the car driving experience card without hesitation. He had lost 10 years of experience in car driving before, but he didn't upgrade it this time. Locke's mind moved, and the panel changed immediately. Car driving, L3 master, instantly became car driving, L4 superb. Sure enough, his previous speculation was correct. It takes 15 years of experience to upgrade from L3 to L4, which is doubled directly, in an instant. Locke was a little absent-minded. This upgrade was completely different from the previous one. Too many things were stuffed into his mind. In his mind, there were even three-dimensional structural drawings of the car, engine structure, gearbox structure, electronic control system, and car manufacturing principles, and even wind resistance data. At this moment, Locke was extremely confident that as long as he had materials and tools, he could build a car with the best performance in the world by himself. No one knows cars better than him.